What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Fight Like Hell podcast. We're coming to you, episode 74, and it is October 29th. It is a Saturday. It's Halloween weekend eve. I have my lovely co host sitting to my left, Austin. And then, how are you doing first, Austin?
I'm doing good. There's a spider on my screen.
Oh, okay, eat it. Um, and then below us, who do we have?
Now we have someone who we've been friends with on Instagram, following for a while. And that is Mr. Zeke Curry. How's it going?
Going well, gentlemen. How are you?
Good.
That spider is extra protein, by the way.
I know, right? At first, I was like, "What is that?" And then I was like, "Oh,
Zeke, when we do this podcast, we like to introduce our guests at first. And what we usually tell them is just give us like anywhere from a minute to like 5 minute backstory on who you are and like where you're from, and just like a little teaser about who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, originally from Baltimore, Maryland, born and raised in East Baltimore. Started working in the hospitality business in that area. Got married. My wife and I bought a house in southern Pennsylvania. Lived in southern PA for about 6 years. Then we moved out to western Pennsylvania, where I worked at a ski resort for a few years. Then we moved to Colorado, where I worked at a small luxury property for a year. Then we moved back to Baltimore, where I got a job with the hotel company I'm with now. Worked in Baltimore for a few years. Then we transferred out to San Diego, spent 3 years in San Diego, and then moved to South Florida. Now I'm in Southeast Florida, working for the same hotel company I've been with now for about 7 years. We're married, 2 kids, big into fitness, big into outdoors, crazy fitness journey. Was heavy at one point, lost a bunch of weight up and down, but that's kind of the short version of the long story for me.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get into more details on your backstory and why we thought you'd have been actually a really good guest. But
Appreciate
first, we got to hit some of our promotions. Our first sponsor of the Fight Like Hell podcast is Invicta Coffee Co. They're a veteran owned coffee company out of sunny Arizona, where the state is currently not on fire. And they have our friend over at Invicta, Spencer, has a lot of really good coffees. One of our favorite ones are the Bourbon Pecan, which was a collab with Sisterdale Distilling. If you would like to get some really good coffee, head on over to their website. Use the promo code Fight Like Hell, all one word. Again, Fight Like Hell, and you can save a little bit of money on some really good coffee. Our next official sponsor of the podcast is PatriotCookies.co. They are a veteran owned cookie company out of Florida. Our good friend Johnny B. Tack Fit is our cookie dealer, and he makes a lot of different types of really good cookies. Everything from the unhealthy traditional cookies to wild, like mashed up flavors, and some even like healthy, like vegan alternative cookies. If you would like to save 15% on some really good cookies that he's shipping around the states, I don't know if he does international, but I know he does through the
I don't
states.
think so.
I don't
I
know
don't
so
think they
either.
hold up well
I
at
don't think.
all.
Yeah. But anyways, if you'd like to get some really good cookies, head on over to his website. Use the promo code Fight Like Hell, all one word, Fight Like Hell, and save 15% on some delicious cookies. That be it. Let's get into this.
All right. Yeah, I think I might order some cookies on Monday.
I was just thinking that cookies sound good, cookies and coffee.
Well, he's not that far from you, Zeke.
Oh,
He's right
really?
down the road from you.
Okay, well, there you go.
He's in Naples,
Okay,
Yeah,
that's on
he's
the
in
right?
other
Naples.
side. Yeah, that's on the west coast of Florida for sure.
Yeah, so it's
Where
not
are
that
you
far
out
from
of?
you.
I'm in Jensen Beach, which is, I guess, between Miami and Daytona, I guess is the best way to put it, north of Stewart. I work in West Palm Beach, but I live 45 miles north in Jensen Beach. So our house is about probably 10, 12 minutes from the beach.
Okay. You know where like Pembroke Pines is?
No, no, we've only been here a year and a half, so we're not real familiar with it.
You know where Hollywood Beach is?
I do know where Hollywood Beach is, yes.
Yeah, so if you go west of Hollywood Beach, like 45 minutes, in Broward County still, there's a place called Pembroke Pines, and that's actually where I grew up.
I remember you telling me that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you grew up in Alaska.
I just tell people that because Alaska is way fucking cooler than Florida. All right, so let's get into weekend adventures. Let's talk about, well, I mean, it's literally the weekend right now.
Yeah.
It
And
is.
I guess we can talk about things that happened last weekend and or this weekend. Your choice. Let's actually go with our guests first, Zeke, because you had a couple things
I
that
don't
were
know.
going on this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. Yeah,
what did you have?
My son is finishing up his marching band season. So he had his MPAs, which is kind of like their biggest competition of the year. Their last competition it was actually at his high school. So they do the full marching band on the field, formations, movements, different songs. It's actually really, really interesting to watch. I never thought that it would be that interesting until my son got into it. And when you watch these kids kind of go through these practices where they have to be in a certain spot each time and through certain movements, it's really impressive that these kids can play an instrument, march around on the field, hit formations, move. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So he does that. He plays percussion. He's on drumline this year. But yeah, so that was pretty much what we did for the evening. This morning was pretty chill. Hit the gym. Then just laid around the house. Was pretty lazy today. Took my daughter to a sleepover, so the house is empty right now. Wife's asleep, and I'm on the podcast. My son's probably going to go out with his friends afterwards tonight, so he may. If you hear a little noise coming in the front door, because I'm right by the front door, it may be him at some point. But pretty chill. Tomorrow, we're very active in our church. My son plays on the worship team at our church, so he plays guitar for that. And then my wife works there on Sundays, so that's pretty much half of our day tomorrow. And then probably watch some football, and then just chill for the rest of the day. Maybe do some meal prep.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Very cool. No, like the marching band stuff is actually very interesting. Like one of my best friends that I grew up with was in the marching band, and I would go out to watch our trash ass football team play, and mainly just see him out there doing his stuff in the marching band.
Yeah.
And I used to make fun of him a lot for it, but at the same time, he was actually like way cooler than me. So it was more jealousy, I think, than anything,
Right.
because I too would sit there thinking, I'm like, Kevin, how do you how do you not run into the person in front of you?
Right. Yeah. It's
He's
pretty
like,
rad.
Choreography.
He's like,
Yeah, I
we
posted a couple things
practice.
in my story today, just kind of like some videos of it. And we watched their practice one time, and they spend like hours upon hours where
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
guess their band director will be up in the top where the football, where they do the broadcasting for the football is, and then he'll make them run through it and stop, and then check. They have little cards that tell them where they're supposed to be, and so it's pretty cool to watch these kids.
Yeah, and obviously your son has musical talent because you said he's percussion and he plays guitar for your church.
Yeah, so that didn't come from either my wife or myself. Neither of us are musically inclined. So I don't know where he got it from. But
YouTube.
yeah, I know, right? Well, my wife had a guitar that she had for the longest time prior to meeting me, and it was an acoustic guitar. And my son just said, "Hey, I want to learn how to play this." So we had somebody start coming to the house when we were in California, and the guy comes in and he's like, "All right, well, you're going to learn a song. What song do you want to learn?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know, Stairway to Heaven." And the guy looked at him and was like, "That's like the hardest song in the world to play." And he's like, "I want to learn it." So they spent like, I don't know how many months learning Stairway to Heaven. And then after a while, he was like, "All right, I want to move on to something else." So, and he just kept practicing, and just, was always into it. And he's gotten better over time. So he's always done percussion for school. That was his thing for band, was percussion, even in middle school. But he always wants to play guitar. So he's good. And now he's taking singing lessons. Well, he's doing choir now in high school. And so he's doing band and choir because he wants to learn how to sing. So I don't know, maybe future rock star, who knows? But he's got great music taste. That's the best part about it. Like, he's 15, he's gonna be 16 in January, and he loves 90s alternative. He loves like classic rock, and he actually likes jazz too. He's in jazz band in high school as well. So You know,
Mhm.
he's doing all the right stuff, man. I'm
No,
lucky. Knock on wood.
that's very, very, very lucky. Especially like I think like I don't know. I played a lot of sports in high school,
What were
and
you doing when you were 15 or 16, Rob?
I was playing a lot of like competitive hockey and traveling quite a bit. Well, yeah, my parents were still like driving me around to tournaments, or I would have to go with the school or whatever. But what I was gonna get at is my buddy who is also in the marching band. We would have so much stuff to do after school that we would find ourselves not like effing off and like getting involved with the kids that were like doing drugs and just like I mean I smoked weed and stuff a couple of times when I was in high
I mean, of
school,
course.
but it was I don't know. Like I know people that played no sports and they didn't have shit to do after school and they were constantly getting in trouble. So I think it's really good when a child is involved, like you know they're
Yeah.
becoming a young adult and they're involved with some sort of sport or something.
Yeah,
So
I think it teaches a lot of responsibility too. I mean, my son, he bit off a lot this year as far as his schedule goes at school. You know, in addition to band and choir, and like I said, with our church, what he's doing. I mean, he gets up at 5 every Sunday for me to take him to church early. He's also doing junior ROTC. So this is his second year in junior ROTC.
oh snap.
Yeah, it's a lot of commitment. Like he's right now he's pretty. He hasn't 100% decided, but he feels pretty good that he might end up going in the Air Force. So I
Is
mean,
well, he has to be smart to do that.
he's got all A's right now and 1B. So he's
Well, he's smart enough.
yeah, he's doing good. He's like I said, he's doing everything. He's moving in the right direction. So, but you know, it does teach that discipline. You know, and it's cool to see that. You know, he loves that he's got to dress up for school once a week, wear his uniform and tie and hat and everything. And you know what I mean. So it's teaching them to be young men, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of like challenges, he actually did the 22 challenge with
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
And
So
Yeah, he heard me
that-
talking about it, and he was like, "I want to do it with you." So you know, we did it. I mean, it was and for
hell,
us,
there were days he dragged you out because you didn't want to do it,
he
and he's
did.
like, "No, Dad, I want to
Yep.
do this. Let's go."
100%. He called me out a couple times where I was like, "Man, I'm tired. I don't want to do it." And he's like, "Let's go. Let's get it done." And you know, he motivated me to do it. So we have like a 3 mile loop in our neighborhood that we walk sometimes. So that was kind of what we did was that 3.5 to 4 mile walk.
Mhm.
And, you know, it was cool. It was a good bonding time. We got to talk. We got to have, you know, it was good. There was a couple times. The one day I was struggling and he was way ahead of me. I had to tell him to slow down. But he's also 15 and I'm 43.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can beat him in the gym when it comes to lifting, but he's got a little more cardiovascular endurance than the old man does.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well,
Yeah.
sounds like you've had eventful weekends and
Yeah.
will continue to have eventful weekends. Austin, how about you?
Nothing. Nothing.
Nothing.
Like usual. Like usual.
Did nothing.
Shit.
He's the easiest person to ask. Like
Right.
unless
I
he
usually
hangs
don't-
out with me or
I don't do
something, like
shit.
he doesn't do anything.
I stay home and do nothing.
Are you guys in the
Wait.
same state? Do you live in the same area or?
No, he lives in
No,
Arizona. I live in Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah. He's busy hanging out with like hippies and doing drugs.
Yeah,
And,
all the time, every day, every day.
well, yep.
No, I mean, if we lived in the same state, we'd probably be doing a lot more adventures. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't live in the same state.
It's crazy
Yeah.
you say that because I know Rob and I talked about this before, you know, on just back and forth on Instagram about how, you know, I have more friends. My wife kind of laughs at me, not laughs at me, but she thinks it's funny that, you know, I have more friends on Instagram that I talk to on a daily basis.
Oh,
that I've connected
100%.
with over the years than I do in real life. You know, I mean,
I met Rob through Instagram.
exactly. I'm saying like
all
maybe
three of
5
us
or
on
less.
Instagram.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's crazy how I guess it's just easier to connect. It's easier to talk. It's easier to, you know, message back and forth. You're seeing each other's lives and what's going on in your stories. So you kind of feel like you're there in a sense, I guess.
yeah. I think all my friends I have met on either Instagram or other social media. Like that's how I met people I talk to.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I mean, I met Zeke, I think around the time that either it was before the 75 hard or when I was doing the 75 hard. I think we found each other through like hashtags on like 75 hard stuff, because you've always been a big supporter of like First Form.
Yep.
And I would go to your page and I'm like, this guy gets up every fucking morning at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to work out. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people that do this? He's like, discipline over motivation, discipline over motivation. I'm like,
for sure.
I'm sleeping. I'll do my
Right?
workout at night.
Yeah.
You can have your morning workouts. But now I always found you fascinating, and it's funny because like we ran into an issue probably about a month ago where we had a guest like kind of screw us over 3 times in a row and mess up our rotation. And we're sitting there like looking at, like, we have a list of people that we've talked to about bringing on the podcast, and some of the people we've already talked to, and we're talking about November or December timeframe. And out of nowhere I was like, why doesn't Zeke come on the podcast? Why haven't we asked Curry to come on? That dude is always up in the morning. Like he'll work out through injuries. He'll work out when he's tired. Like it's just, it's motivational, and it's definitely like that fight like hell attitude. And like, to be completely transparent, you've known me for probably like 2 years now.
Yeah.
And you've seen some of my like highest and lowest moments, and you have been one of my friends who have celebrated my highs, but also have been there for me at my lowest moments when I was hurting bad, whether it was physically or emotionally. And like, it's just, you're a great dude. So I was like, we need to have Zeke on.
Thanks, man. That means a lot. I appreciate that. Don't make me cry.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a crier.
No, I almost cried fucking saying all that. I was like, damn, because
it's crazy.
Rob's super emotional, so it's okay.
No, and it's when you connect with someone like that, it's definitely creates a bond, a brotherhood, and that's whether it's First Form, family, or Save Our Six. That's kind of what drew me to to all of you guys, to Vigilant and Humble and Save Our Six, was that it was a family of people. And I've met so many people through both of you and on that I still chat with and just stay connected in a community of, social media nowadays can be very, I don't know, it gets too crazy. It gets it's got a lot of BS and a lot of like fake people and a lot of, it's just like, it's fake. And then to meet real people who do real stuff, who care about each other and who have a connection and a family, to me, that's what I like about social media, or that's what I try to get out of social media, and that's what was Save Our Six was huge, and that's why, when we connected and started messaging back and forth, I was like, this is what I'm all about, so it's cool. So I appreciate those comments, man. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I mean, like it means a lot. And just, I don't know, actually, Austin, when you get a sec, bring up Zeke's page, because one of the things I've talked to Austin about, I'm just gonna kind of say it, put you a little bit on blast. Like, I don't understand how you don't get a bigger influence, just because of the fact that like you're constantly out. Like, go to one of his videos or whatever, and then
which ones? He has like 50 million of the same thing.
Just pick one of the one him drinking stuff.
That's me doing my my level 1 protein shake. And that's the thing, is that the problem with Instagram is that to get followers and to get, it's like, it's all just, it's so ridiculous. Like when I look at some of my reels that have, 10,000 views or something crazy like that, or ridiculous, it's like the dumbest stuff ever. It's not like my ones of me like working out, and my fitness ones are me trying to be motivational. It's like, my dog got 7,000 views right there of me with my dog.
Hey, dogs are cute.
I mean, dogs go off. Allie brings in some numbers for me too.
But it's like, for me, it's crazy, because I'll get messages from people sometimes that say, I saw your post this morning and it made me want to work out, or I saw your post that made me get up. And, so to me, those are the things that's why I do it, and I get a lot of people that, I don't want to say make fun of me, but, some people at work will talk smack, like, oh, what do you think, you're a fitness influencer? And that's not what it's about. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I have a job. I make good money. I just want to motivate people. I want to motivate other 40-year-old dads like me, other normal people that are not jacked and ripped and, you see these people online that are jacked because of either TRT or steroids or whatever, and it's just not real, and you can't relate to those people. So that's why I post, and that's why I post my workouts, and that's why I, try to post some motivational stuff, and I try to throw some funny stuff in there as well too. But it's sometimes you get a little bit of imposter syndrome. You feel like you're not good enough, or you're not posting. Your videos aren't top notch, they're not perfect, they're not professional, but I don't know. When I get those people that send me messages that say that your post motivated me to work out, or your post made me get up today, that makes me want to keep doing it. So that's why I do it, just for fun. It's what I'm passionate about.
And if y'all listen to this podcast, head over to Curry's page. It's at Curry2 Cali. That's CURRY2, the number 2, CALI. And the only reason why I say that is because, like, I like your page. You and several other people are people that I constantly see. If they post something, or if it goes to their story, like, your stuff usually shows up in my like top friend group of people that, and I don't know, like, I see you getting up every morning and getting after it. I'm just like, oh fuck, Zeke's going.
That one was
that guy again. Jeez.
He's like, here he goes. But I mean, like, it, and I think one of the things I like about you too is you're real about like what's going on with life. You don't just glamorize getting up early and getting after it. Like, there's been plenty of times where you've been sick, you've been hurt, you're going through struggles either at work, personal life, and you share all sides of you. You share the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, like, I think it was like a week or two ago, you were saying something, and I wrote to you to make sure that you're okay or whatever, because you were going through a tough time. And
man, it's definitely, mental health is something I've struggled with my whole life, and I never knew how to deal with it in the past. Prior to meeting my wife, I would, even in the beginning of our relationship, I would shut down completely. If I went into, some serious depression, I was the type of person that would just, I want to stay in bed, leave me alone, don't talk to me. I would shut down completely, and I didn't have a way to kind of deal with that. And I never knew how to deal with that. So fitness and the gym is kind of what brought me out of that, or brings me out of that. So the days where I wake up, and that's kind of, I mean, we'll get into the whole discipline over motivation and where that came from. But, for me, I look at it like this: is if I don't go to the gym, I'm not going to feel any better. But I've never left the gym feeling like I wish I wouldn't have done that. I always leave the gym in a better spot than when I got there. Now, that doesn't mean I'm 100%, but that means that I'm better than I was before. And I've learned that when I start to get into those, periods where I'm like a little, depressed, or I'm not feeling it, or the anxiety or whatever, it's starting to kick in. I can feel it. I know I got to get up and work out. I got to go to the gym. I got to be active. So for me, that was, it's huge, and that's why I try to tell people, like, you got to do it. You got to get up. You got to have that discipline. Motivation is something that comes and goes, and that's why when I wake up at 4 a.m., I am not motivated to get up. I mean, maybe like today I woke up and I was motivated, but normally I wake up and I want to hit the snooze button. I want to go back to sleep. I'm like, I'll talk to myself. There's been days where I've stood in the mirror and said, you're tired, you're sore, you worked out yesterday, take a rest day, go back to bed. I literally have these conversations with myself. But it's the discipline and the habits that I've created that force me to get up at 4 a.m. It forces me to go to the gym at 4 a.m. or at 5 a.m. when the gym opens. And I do
unless
that.
It's closed.
Like that pissed me off. Oh my God, I got there. I took my pre-workout at home. I got there. I'm sitting in the parking lot. Face is tingling. I'm like jacked up. Like, people are waiting. There's guys doing push-ups. I swear to God, there's guys doing push-ups in the parking lot, jumping rope in the parking lot, hoping that the gym's going to open. And I sat there for 30 minutes, and I came home, and I was like, I'll just go home and work out. And then my home garage gym I had an awesome garage gym in California.
Yeah, you had a really good one in Cali.
Oh, it was dope. I had some really, really good equipment. It was awesome. I built it like right around COVID, when the gyms closed. And so I get back home and I go into my garage, and there's like a huge tree chainsaw sitting on my bench, and a tree cutter. And I'm just like, this isn't meant to be today.
You're like, I'm not moving all that shit.
No, it wasn't happening. But But that's to me like, and the reason why I go at 5 a.m. to be honest with you, it's not because I like going early. I mean, I do, but it's to not take away time from my family. I don't get home until 7, 8 o'clock at night, and then for me to go to the gym at 7, 8 o'clock at night when I haven't seen my family all day, it's not fair to them. So for me,
No,
I
100%.
sacrifice that time in the morning, to get up early to go to the gym because I know I need that gym to fill my bucket, so I can be a better person when I get home, so I can be a better father and a better husband, and that way when I get home, I can spend that hour and a half I have before I have to get in bed because I'm an old man. I try getting up at 4 a.m. By 9 o'clock, I'm I'm ready. That's why when you guys were like, "Oh, let's do the podcast at 9:30," I was like, "All right, I'm gonna need a Celsius and maybe some pre-workout. I don't know, but
And so you seem pretty awake right now.
Yeah.
It's tequila. No.
Tequila. Actually, yeah. You know what? Talk about some of your tequila. By the way, I apologize. I'm not drinking tonight. I'm actually hydrating. I'll go over why in a little bit because
Right.
I've been sick as hell and I have hockey tomorrow. But talk about the tequila
What are you
because
drinking?
I found it really interesting what you're saying in the green room.
Yeah, so like I love tequila. That's my go-to drink. I used to be a big bourbon guy, and bourbon just doesn't agree with me. It doesn't agree with my stomach, and I don't know. It's not my thing. But I like the taste of bourbon, so I'd like to go with some of the older aged tequilas, either a reposado or an añejo. That way, it's got there. That means it's been aged in a barrel for a period of time. Different kinds of barrels. But tonight, I'm drinking Código Rosa, and the Rosa right here. The Rosa is aged in Cabernet barrels, so it gives it that kind of like reddish color tint to it. So that's what I'm sipping on tonight. But I'm not a huge drinker. I don't drink a lot, but when I do drink, I do like tequila. It's my go-to. So
Yeah,
So
I like tequila. Tequila's good.
yeah, Austin loves tequila, but
I like
he's also a
Blanco
little
though. I like
bitch.
Blanco.
He
I like
he
Blanco tequila.
mixes
So.
everything. He doesn't drink anything straight. Like he's like a
Cas
child.
See, so I'll mix Casamigos
okay,
with some just lime, and
yeah.
that tastes
See, I'm not a huge fan of Casamigos because it's got a sweeter vanilla flavor to it. If you sip on
good.
it, it kind of has that sweet vanilla taste to it.
Yeah.
And it's not my. I like more of the peppery, spicy tequilas. So
Okay.
like my normal, like everyday, just average drinking tequila is Herradura. That's my go-to Herradura Reposado. It's like 35 to $40 a bottle, but it's good middle of the road tequila. I just had some Casa Dragones, which is a higher end tequila. They just released a Reposado that is amazing. I tried it the other day at work. That's, I guess, one of the benefits of working in food and beverage and hotels is that you get to try some really cool stuff. So, but yeah, that's my go-to. I mean, I'll drink tequila seltzers as well too. Not like Trulies or White Claws, but they make some that are actually
I've
tequila.
never had those.
It's tequila and club soda or tequila and grapefruit juice, which is a Paloma. So if Austin,
I've had those actually before.
you would like
Lowell
Paloma
drinks
coffee.
those. My boss drinks those. He's a big tequila drinker, and he's brought
If
them
I'm
over
like,
to the house a couple times.
if I'm going to be by the pool hanging out, then I'll drink a seltzer because the problem with tequila that you drink straight is that it just starts to go down very smooth and it's a smaller amount, but it'll over a period of time will kick in a lot harder. So I'll
Oh
switch
yeah, it'll
to
fuck
tequila
you up.
yeah, but
So I got more questions on that because like personally I'm a bourbon drinker or whiskey. I can't do regular tequila, like it makes me nauseous. I personally do not mind the taste of mezcal though. Like mezcal has been always good to me because it's like that. It's a darker.
yep.
It reminds me of a little bit of whiskey, a little bit of scotch, kind of like hints of it, smoky flavor.
Right.
So you're saying that the like reposados are which ones are
Yeah.
like going to be
Well,
closer?
So basically, what happens is mezcal and tequila are made exactly the same in a sense. It's made from the same plant. The difference between mezcal is when they cook. It's called the piña, which is the base of the agave plant. When they cook it underground, in like with charcoal, and it creates this earthy, smoky aromas, which is why mezcal has that smoky taste to it, kind of like a scotch or kind of like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the way they make it. But when you're looking at tequila, as a blanco is a basic, tequila. It's aged. It can be either bottled right away or aged for a very short period of time, up to like less than 2 months. When you get into the reposados, those are stored in some type of barrel, whether it be a wine barrel or a bourbon barrel, depending on the tequila manufacturer, and that will be stored for anywhere from 2 months to a year, and aged for that period of time. And then once you get over a year, then you're getting into an añejo. So an añejo is aged anywhere from 1 year to 3 years. And then anything over 3 years is considered an extra añejo. So that's where you kind of get those flavors that are similar to a bourbon because of the barrel aging. You get that like some of the caramel taste or that smokiness or that flavor that you would get from a bourbon.
I might have to have you DM me some añejos.
Yeah.
Like the ones that are more like extra that have aged even longer.
100%.
I'll definitely check those out because that sounds more appealing. And I know that like Amanda, she loves tequila, but she also does like she likes doing skinny margs.
Yeah.
Like skinny margaritas. I don't understand what it is, but
so a margarita, usually it's tequila. You've got usually you'll put triple sec in there, and then some kind of sour mix or agave or simple syrup or whatever. And the thing with a skinny margarita is it's usually just tequila, maybe some agave, which is better than sugar, simple syrup, and then some lime juice, maybe some lemon in there. So skinny is just less calories, less sweetener.
No, like triple sec, which is like
no triple sec.
That's
sugar.
like just loaded with sugar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
okay, like, that makes sense.
So like we'll do margaritas in the house, like Palomas in the house sometimes, and I have a juice press. So we'll do jalapeno basil, and I'll muddle that, and then do a shot of tequila, and then just do fresh squeezed grapefruit juice with no agave whatsoever, and then we'll shake that up and obviously rim it with tahini or salt, depending on how we're feeling, and do the jalapeno basil margarita with grapefruit juice. It's amazing, super refreshing.
Oh my god! All right.
Well,
so
you had
next time I'm in Florida, I might visit.
You had a pineapple jalapeno mixer when you're in Texas, Rob.
Oh, there you go. That sounds good. Pineapple jalapeno.
Yeah, it was you had the pineapple jalapeno mixer that you had down there.
Oh yeah. But I mixed it with whiskey, and it didn't taste the best. Like it tasted better.
It's not made to be mixed with whiskey.
But I didn't want to drink tequila. Like tequila.
See, the problem with tequila is the market is so saturated right now. Everybody has a tequila brand. Every rapper, rock star, like everybody's got a.
I mean, the same with bourbon.
Oh, I know, it's getting so ridiculous.
It's terrible.
You buy a bottle, and if you don't like it, you're stuck with it. So that's why we have a spot here by us called Total Wine, and I've become pretty good friends with the guy in there. You go into Total Wine and say, hey, I want to taste some tequilas, and if they're not busy, they'll go and they have a classroom in the back, and they'll pull a bunch of bottles down and let you try some different stuff. That way, you're not buying. That's what I did yesterday or 2 days ago when I bought this bottle. Was I said, let me try some stuff, and he let me try a few things, and I found this one that I liked. So, because you get stuck with a bad bottle of tequila, and it'll sit there forever.
That's why you just do a lot of. I mean, I don't have that here, so I just do a lot of research.
Or you could do what I just saw a video the other day. People were pouring liquor through the Brita filter.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've heard of that, and it gets rid of.
Yeah,
and it gets rid of the alcohol flavor. Like it doesn't taste like alcohol at all.
Yeah, it cleans it out or whatever. So. I don't know.
I'm still not sure. I kind of want to try that just to see if it actually works.
Right.
But
I just can't have a Brita filter full of tequila in my refrigerator.
Right. Your son goes to pour water.
Goes to get some water,
Especially if it actually works and it doesn't taste like tequila.
Yeah, I know. Well, you can't believe half the stuff you see on Instagram anyway. You know what I mean? It's all fake. So.
Right. Well, that's why I want to try it to see if it actually works.
Right.
Try it already. Do it.
I don't have a Brita filter.
It's Amazon or Walmart. That's one of your favorite stores.
You can try it out, throw it away if it doesn't work. You should do it on the podcast.
Right.
That's actually a good idea.
That's not a bad idea.
I have a Brita filter, but I think Amanda would be mad if I ruined it for that.
Right.
That was it, Amanda's.
No, actually, know what?
You just gotta buy a new filter for it. You just buy one of the new inserts.
Yeah, you just buy a new filter. You don't have to buy a whole new Brita.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know these things. I don't use that. I use Big Berkey, which is like this huge distilling thing. It's like one of the best ways to like purify water.
I have one.
Oh, you have one.
I love it. My wife.
All right, hang on. Is that all right? I'm not trying to throw jabs at the whole religious thing, but is it in the religious community that people know about that? Because the person who got me into it is
Right.
also like big time religious person.
I don't know
And
where she saw it. I'll ask her, but I don't know. I mean, she saw it somewhere, obviously, probably on
okay,
Instagram, where you see everything.
then
But
that
we
makes
we
more
were big
sense.
into it. Yeah, I think it was. I don't know when we got it. I think we got it when we moved here to
They're
Florida. And we
they're
saw it.
cool. I like
Yeah,
it a lot.
and if you look at the description of it, those filters last for like years. I don't know. It's insane. Like I don't know how many thousands and thousands of gallons of water you can pump through those filters, but we use it for everything. I will not drink the tap water here in Florida. It is horrible.
Yeah, no, and our water at the canyon is debatable too. So
Are you on well
my
water?
no, we have spring water that
Okay.
comes up from the canyon, but it's one of those things that like with how old the houses are here and everything and how old like some of the piping is and stuff, I worry that there could be contaminants in it. So like
Mhm.
me and Allie, we only drink stuff that comes out of the big Berkey. Like I won't.
My dog, same thing. I don't give my dog tap water. No,
Yeah.
I don't even know if he would drink it if I put it down. He might look at me funny, like, "What is this?" Oh
Oh man. I guess on show notes though, one more thing I want to go over, and then we're gonna get into your like backstory, Curry.
man.
Um, hockey stuff. We were gonna talk about my ankle, I guess, right?
Yeah, I'd definitely love to
Yes.
hear about that. I'm
How's
glad
it
to see you
holding up?
back on the ice, man. That's awesome. I know
It's
that was a tough time for you.
yeah. I mean, like, shout out to Amanda because like she had to deal with a side of me that a lot of people didn't see on social media because I was constantly just angry, upset,
Asshole.
sad. Yeah, Austin got to see a little bit and like emotional. Just I don't know, like it was hard, like going from having a super active lifestyle to like all of a sudden for 4 months I couldn't do shit was very depressing. And I recently about a month ago I got cleared to go back to hockey by my surgeon and by my physical therapist. But the problem I was running into is the way the metal in my ankle sits. It's really close to the skin, and I started noticing whenever I wear an ice hockey skate or like a hiking boot that goes over ankle level, like a mid top or a high top, it would feel like something was like pressing against the metal, and I could feel like especially in a hockey skate, like the hockey skate is like carbon fiber and plastic, and it's padded on the inside, but you can still feel the tension between metal touching something soft and then touching something hard. So I was talking to my surgeon about it. And I'm like, I really feel like I feel the metal on my ankle. And she's like, because you do. Like,
Yeah.
it's, you have nerves that are growing back there. So the debate now is like just over 6 months. I'm like, here in about a week, I'll be at 7 months post injury. At the year mark, we can decide if I want to take it out or not. But it's one of those, it's material that's designed to stay in there for a long time. So if I want to keep it in, I can. And the weird thing is I have better stability on that ankle than the other ankle just because there's a metal, you know, bracket there, I guess. So it would behoove me to keep it in, but at the same time, I was feeling it a lot when I was going to hockey. So what I ended up doing was, in hockey, like your skates are sometimes so tight, and if you don't have like the perfect like ergonomical foot, um, you have to do this thing called punching your skate, where they take the interior of your skate and they find like points that are bothering you. So like let's say this is the foot and that side's bothering you right here. You punch part of the skate out. But the thing is you have to know that you want to do this, because once you do that, you basically have signed the death sentence to that skate. Like It is 100% yours. You're never going to probably be able to resell it. And skates are expensive as fuck. So I personally didn't want to punch my skates, but like it was bothering me a lot. And I finally did it. I've been going to practice. I've been going to scrimmages, doing okay to the point where I thought I was good to go. And then I played in my first game on Sunday last weekend, and it was hands down the worst game of hockey I think I've played in my entire life. Uh, a lot of it was, I think, just trying to get back into the feel and swing of things more than the injury itself. I went out to practice yesterday, which part of the reason why we didn't do the podcast, and I feel a lot better. I also was using a brand new stick in that game that I hadn't cut yet. And if your stick's too long, it ends up putting you in an awkward position because you want your stick close to your body for like stick handling. And if it's too long, you're reaching out further, which allows the defenseman or another winger to like easily access the puck. The closer the puck can stay to your body, the better you're going to be able to get around people. So I'm hoping that tomorrow I'll improve, and that's part of the reason why I didn't drink with you tonight, because I had like a really healthy meal this afternoon from Freshly, and then I felt like dog shit. So I ended up taking a nap, waking up with like a massive headache, and I just started pounding water. Um, I made myself like a homemade soup with broth. Um, yeah, so like hydrating like crazy and stuff because I want to be ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that was a lot of like it was more mental than anything while you were out there on the ice than it was, were you worried about your ankle? Because I know I went through that same thing where I have a plate in my arm from a motorcycle accident and, super cautious after that. But I mean, do you feel like you have good range of motion? Like, because I can only imagine like on the ice, it's not like walking or running or playing any other sport. You're on a thin blade trying to make crazy turns. Like, I couldn't imagine that.
So what I've brought up on the podcast and I've talked to a couple of people about is the hardest part in the past up until like this Friday or last Sunday was getting to the ice because like you said, there's a thin blade. So when you're walking from the locker room, you can really feel the boot like compressing against the ankle and the metal. And I mean, it was like excruciating pain. To a point where like we were trying to get our jerseys the other day, and I walked in to my new team, and I walked into like the front desk or whatever for the rink, and I'm like, hey, like I play on the red team. I need to pick up my jersey. Blah blah blah. They're like, okay, well we're gonna bring them back there. I'm like, okay. I'm like, please do, because like I really don't want to have to walk over here, and I'm not trying to be rude about it. It's just like I physically don't know if I can walk all the way back over here, because on the ice it's different because you're pushing off, you're gliding, so
Yeah.
it's not so much pressure. The only time I kind of feel it a little bit is when I'm standing there like waiting to do a face off, but to answer your question, I think it was a lot more. It was a lot more mental, just because I was worried about like re-injuring. I was apprehensive. Um, I don't feel 100% yet, and it was also my first game since like April 3rd. So, but I'm more confident this weekend. What happened with your motorcycle wreck though? Talk about that.
Oh, this was back in 2003. It was a four-wheeler accident where I had hit a jump and just got in the four-wheeler. It was the first day I took it out. Didn't realize how much power it had, and I hit this jump to get into this area we were riding and gassed it too hard. And when I hit the ground, pulled a wheelie up, it shot up the fence next to me, went up the fence and came down on top of me. And when it was coming down, my first initial reaction was to put my left hand up, and I put my hand up and broke. You probably can't see it on here, but I have a plate here. I broke both bones in my wrist and every bone in my hand, and it wasn't a compound fracture, but it was literally it was about to pop through. So these are how great my friends are at the time. They helped me get back. We get the bike back to the truck. We get the bike up in the truck, and it was snowing. And they were like, well, are you all right to drive home? Because we're going to go back and ride. It's really nice conditions today. So,
Oh my God.
yeah. So I had to literally drive a stick shift too with that. So I'm holding my left arm, I'm holding my arm, and I'm driving, shifting, and I'm driving, and I'm like trying not to pass out because the pain was something.
That's some shitty friends.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't say that I wouldn't have done this, but I mean, there's nothing they could have done because we had three trucks and 3
They
4-wheelers.
could drive you to the fucking hospital.
Well, I mean, they could have, I guess. I don't know. In hindsight, I guess. But, it is what it is. I made it back home and made it in a plate and a couple screws and a rod in my hand later. And, yeah, no, it's bad. Like, to this day, I didn't get the plate taken out. So this is 2003 when this happened. They told me the same thing, like I could get the plate taken out. But now at this point, I think that there's no way I could even have it taken out. But I don't have the range of motion. Like in this hand, like my right hand, I can turn it all the way over. But in this hand, I can only go to about there, and it starts to shake. You can see, like, that's probably, it's like I can go super far this way, but I can't go this way because I don't have the range of motion. And it's crazy how that affects you. And some ways are stupid, but like I can't hold chips or popcorn in my left hand and eat it, or it'll fall out. But I also can't do curl when I do curls. Like my right arm looks different than my left arm because when you do a curl, you want to get that twist at the end.
Yeah.
I can't get that twist here. I can only go to here, so I don't get the full activation of the muscle. So when I look at my biceps, I don't know. It sounds kind of cheesy.
That's
Maybe
crazy.
It's overanalyzing it, but one arm looks different than the other. I lift the same amount of weight in both arms, but it's just the muscle's not developed. It doesn't have the same development as the other one. So, yeah, it's pretty wild.
And then, how long was the recovery on that?
So I was in a cast that went all the way up my arm and up to my elbow for, God, I don't even know how long I was in the cast for. And I literally would have to sit like this with my arm on top of my head because I had to keep the blood to rush down. But I mean, I had the cast on like a normal break. And then it was probably every bit of a year before I was like fully physical therapy. And I didn't have insurance at the time. I was young and stupid. And, I was in my house. Like I went to therapy one time and I tried to learn what the guy was teaching me to do it on my own, which is probably why I don't have the full range of motion. But
yeah, probably.
I would stand in my house and just open doors. That's what he said. He said, just keep opening doors and keep opening doorknobs and spin your wrist. And I don't know. But yeah, it's I'm injury prone, man. Like I've had some crazy stuff happen to me over the years, from the wrist to the lower back to all kinds of crazy stuff. So.
And then, so how'd you get into hospitality?
Funny enough, when I graduated high school, I swore I would never work in food and beverage. All my friends worked at like McDonald's or Burger King, and I was like, I'll never do that. My first job as like a teenager was at a video store. Back before, some of the people watching this might not remember that, but back when like Blockbuster was a thing, like you actually went to a store and you would rent VHS videos. So I worked at a video store when I was like 15, 16 years old.
Did you work in the back room, in the special back room?
We definitely had a back room. With
the beads?
With the beads.
With the bead curtain?
We had doors, like the saloon doors to go back there. But, talking about the back room, man, it used to weird me out, man. These guys would come in and like, we had a deal. It was like during the week, it was rent 2, get 1 free. And on the weekends, it was rent 3, get 1 free. And they would rent 4 of these. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, what are you doing all weekend long? Are you
back then when you got judged for what you got?
They would bring them back and set them on the counter, and it would be like, I'm not touching them. Are you touching them? Nope, not me. Just like rock, paper, scissors over.
Where's the gloves?
Grab the videos. But anyway, so when I got out of high school, I actually got into construction, and I was building houses for about a year and a half. And I was working for a guy as a contractor. I was doing my own little side business, kind of doing decks and little sidewalk projects and stuff. And I thought that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life, was build houses. And then I got into a really bad construction accident where I busted up 3 discs in my lower back between L3, 4, 5, and 6. 1 disc was going in and 2 discs were going out. So I fell off the roof. I kind of not fell off the roof, but I fell onto the ladder and kind of fell down. And I was hunched over, bent over to sideways for, I don't know, several months. I was in therapy. I was out of work. I was on workman's comp. I was literally I didn't know what to do. I was sitting home all day, and I, started hanging out with a couple guys, and I became friends with this guy who was a barback at a local bar that I would go to. And he said to me, "Hey Zeke, I'm gonna I'm going to quit my job. Do you want it? And I was like, well, what do I got to do? He's like, well, I'm a bar back. And I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, well, you got to stock the bar. You got to take out the trash. You got to fill the ice. And you get to drink all night long, too, while you're working. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a great job. And you make tips. So I did that. And that's how I got into hospitality. So, and then, me being a competitive person, I always wanted to kind of move up and move on. So I taught myself how to bartend, and then, bartended for a few years. And then after that I was good with numbers. So I became the bar manager. And then I was good with people. So I ended up becoming a restaurant manager. And then, I just that's where it snowballed. And then it wasn't until I got the job at a casino in Pennsylvania, up in Harrisburg area. And I fell in love with like large multi-unit food and beverage operations. So that was kind of like I was like, this is what I need to do, because I have horrible ADD. So for me to be working in like one restaurant doing one thing, I get bored very easily. I have to have a million things going on at one time, or my brain just doesn't work right. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's where I kind of fell in love with it. And then, like I said before, I bounced around different, when my kids were young, we moved around a lot just because we had the opportunity to, and it was just, a good chance for me to advance in my career. So that's where the journey from the East Coast to the Midwest to the East Coast to the West Coast to the East Coast. It's crazy. My wife and I laugh about it. We say we're going to write a book one day. I'm not going to say the title of the book because I don't want anybody to steal it, but we have a really catchy title for a book, and just kind of like a story of our lives and my life in hospitality and what we've been through.
And what'd your wife do?
So my wife was a hairstylist, and she spent years as I think 20 years as a hairstylist, and she made really good money. But when I had the opportunity to move each of these times, whether it was to Western Pennsylvania and then out to Colorado, she supported me to chase my dream in food and beverage. So she ended up, changing jobs and moving on. And then when we were in California, she was working at one of the number one not resorts, but number one spas in the United States. And she was loving it, and she had a job, and she was doing good, and I was doing good. But, we just decided we didn't want to be in California anymore. So we moved to Florida, and now, I guess you could say, if you asked her, she'd say she was going to retire, I guess. I don't know. But now she's working part-time at our church as an administrative assistant to our pastor. So she works 3 days a week there. And she's loving it. She's doing good.
So she's kind of retired.
Kind of retired. I mean, she still cuts hair on the side. She does my hair.
Okay.
Got a fresh fade today.
I know, that's good.
Yeah, it looks good.
She does a good job. She's very talented. And then on top of that, she likes to build furniture too. So she, when we moved back to Baltimore from Colorado, we didn't have a lot of money. So she found a website that taught her how to build furniture, and she started building. She built coffee tables. She built the dining room table that I'm sitting at right now. She built chairs. Our bed, headboard and footboard. She built that. She built huge barn doors, sliding barn doors for people. We have one in our house as well. So she's very creative, and her dad was in the construction, so she kind of had it in her blood. But yeah, it's
cool.
kind of like a hobby of hers is to build furniture.
So a little bit of
That's
everything.
awesome,
sounds
though.
like.
I know, it's cool. She's got some cool pieces that she's done. So,
Huh.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I've seen you talk about like Florida, and out of all those places that you lived, where's been your favorite? And do you guys think you're gonna stay in Florida, or what's next for you guys?
That's a good question. So I'd say it's a combination. I mean, we love California, Southern California, just from we love where we live. We lived in a great neighborhood. The weather there was decent. We weren't really happy with how things were handled there during COVID, and we won't get political on this podcast.
Politics are terrible.
We weren't happy with the way things were going in California at that point in time. The housing market was going through the roof, and it was just getting really expensive. So that's why we moved to Florida. I love Florida, and I love where we live. And my kids, I think I'll stay here for another 6 years, let my kids finish school that way, because my kids have gone to a different school from, they finished middle school and then we moved here. My son started high school here fresh, and I was real worried that, luckily with the band community, he latched on, and he's got some really great friends, and he's doing really well. And, my daughter does competitive cheer. So she's got some really good friends in that. But I want to let them finish school here. So I promised them that we would stay here for at least the next 6 years. And then after that, I don't know where we would go. My favorite job of all time, and I said this the other day, was working at the ski resort in Western Pennsylvania. to me, I'm a big snowboarder. I love snowboarding. I know, Robert, we've talked about this before. I miss that. I love working at a resort, and I love the
Yeah, you can't
snow.
snowboard in Florida.
No, not at all. No.
Not at all.
Maybe I
You
can
can
wakeboard.
snowboard in Arizona though.
I
Come out and
know.
visit.
I know, right? But I don't know. My wife loves the beach, and it's like that's where we're opposite. I'm a mountain guy. Like I want to be in the mountains, making fires in my house. Like that's me. And she wants to be by. Now I love the beach too, but
So you need to move somewhere where you can have both.
yeah. Well, I'm hoping to get.
California has both.
California had both. I mean, there was people who would do videos of them surfing and snowboarding in the same day. You go up to Big Bear Mountain, snowboard, and then go hit the beach and go surf on the same day. But I don't know, man. I don't know what's like. We talked about Hawaii, maybe. It just depends. I work for a very large hotel company, so my opportunity for growth and movement, it just depends on what opens up. But I mean, like I said, I've been with that company for 7 years, and I don't see myself leaving. I'd like to get a regional position. If I can get a regional position where I can work from home, then we could live anywhere. We could have a house that we stay at in the mountains in the winter, a place at the beach in the summer. I mean, that's maybe a pipe dream. And I could be sitting here an 800 millionaire on the Powerball right now, which
right
would make that a lot easier.
If only. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I like Florida a lot. I like it here. The beach, the weather is awesome. The beach water is super warm where we live. It's clear.
Oh, so much warmer than California.
But it's just the bugs, man. Like I just walked my dog earlier, and the freaking mosquitoes here are so bad.
It's so humid there.
Yeah, in the summer, it's like there's 3 to 4 months out of the year where it is pure hell. I mean, like hot. And I got to wear a suit to work too, so it makes it even worse. But I don't know. I don't know what's next. We'll see. I'm a big believer in whatever's meant to be will happen. And while we can try and control it, I don't think we have as much control over it as we say. It's just kind of when it's the time, it's the time. And if that's Hawaii or if that's I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens next. I like the west coast of Florida. I want to go check that out. Maybe over in the Naples area, that area over there. I have some friends over there, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so let's get into. You said you used to be super overweight, correct?
Yeah. So when I've gone through a couple big major weight losses. When I was in my early 20s, I was like 240 pounds. I was in construction at the time, and I was just kind of eating bad food, and I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing. And then I lost a bunch of weight, and I was always a big fad diet person. I would gain weight in the winter. It's weight gain season, and I would take a bunch of fat burners in the summer to lose weight, which wasn't always the healthiest thing to do. And then at one point I got to about 245, I think I was, and I don't know, I think back to, I think that was probably.
How tall are you?
6'2". So, but I don't.
Dude, you're tall.
Yeah. So I don't get I just get this belly. I get this weird beer belly. Like I don't get my cheeks get a little pudgy and, but it's mainly, I just get a belly. That's it. I'm skinny fat, And it was in 2017 when I found First Form, and they had a challenge, and it was, $50,000 challenge to lose weight. And if number one, so to me, I was like, well, I got a lot of weight to lose. Let's see what I can do. And I did intermittent fasting, and I didn't know a lot about nutrition at that point. I'd always worked out, but I didn't know much about it. So, I started the First Form challenge in 2017, and I lost a ton of weight. I got down really low. And then I kind of, over the next 3 years, was just up and down with my weight. I would gain weight, I would lose weight, I would gain weight, I would lose weight. And I never really took it seriously. And then there came a point in time, I don't know if it was when I turned 40, if that's when it started to happen, but I remember it was around 2001, right around when COVID, right before COVID or when COVID happened. I don't know the exact timeline, but I kind of started to come to grips with my mortality. And I started to think about, I don't have a lot of time left on this earth, and I want to be here as long as I can for my kids. I want to be able to walk my daughter down the aisle when she gets married. I just was not making the right decisions, and I was not being healthy. And I think COVID kind of helped me a lot because, when COVID happened, I was furloughed for 3 months, and I didn't really know what I was going to do. I didn't know if I was going to be able to go back to work. And I really just got serious about walking every day and working out. And it was all I had to do. Again, losing my mind, stuck in the house for all this time, I kind of turned to fitness. And then that's when I got connected with First Form, and got into their Legionnaire program, which is kind of like an ambassador program for First Form. Same thing that Buck does, same program that he's in. And I really just started taking it serious. and started like taking my fitness serious, taking my nutrition serious, and then just really got into working out regularly and just and I was in the best shape of my life. Got down to like 185 pounds. I was like feeling really good about myself, and then we ended up moving to Florida, and I moved to Florida and spent a couple months in the hotel, gained some weight back, and then I've kind of over the past, I guess, 6 months has kind of been up and down with everything, just because of work's been stressing me out and just life and all that crazy stuff. So I put on a couple pounds that I'm trying to take off right now, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, for me, it's a journey. It's up and it's down, and and that's where I try to motivate people, and I try to reach out to other people with like mindsets to motivate me. But again, the motivation, it comes and it goes, man. Like there's days where I'm like super motivated, and there's days where I wake up and I'm just like, I don't want to do this, but I know I have to. So, but yeah, I don't see myself ever going back to that 245, close to 250 mark. But like right now, I'm sitting right around like 205 to 208, something like that. I'd like to be down to 200, but I'm healthy. I feel good about myself. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where it's at. But if you look back on my page, if you go far down, you'll see like a Transformation Tuesday where I had like a big belly. Like, I mean, it's amazing where I was and where I'm at now. So I don't know. I feel good about it. It gets harder as you get older, dude. It gets much harder as you get older.
Yeah.
It's not
and also one of the things that I was thinking about earlier when we were talking about your page, one of the things I know that you post on your stories, but I don't see you post a lot. Austin, try to find that transformation one while I'm talking about this, please.
There's a couple. There's one with me in a red shirt. That's like where you can see it really well. If you're going to put one up, that'd be the one I'd say that has the best transformation. That's actually when I think the other picture that goes along with that is when I hiked. What's the hike in Arizona? Camelback.
Yeah, Camelback down in like.
It was me at the top of Camelback, but but yeah, man, that's the thing is like lately I haven't been posting as much. I post on my story every day. I post my pre-workout routine and my workout, but work has just been, we're in budget season right now, and it's been so hectic that, I'd like to post more. And again, sometimes maybe it's just that whole imposter syndrome kicking in where I feel like my posts aren't good enough or my story or what I'm saying isn't good enough. And I know it's just me getting in my own head instead of just like put the message out there and people will take it. But I haven't been posting static posts a lot or reels as much as I was in the past.
Well, I was gonna say one of the things you occasionally put on your stories is, and working in the restaurant industry is some of the amazing food that you eat, like especially at like the restaurant environments. Man, make some posts about that stuff because some of the stuff you post is super healthy or just like incredible looking.
Yeah, that's definitely a benefit to my job, man. I get to, our restaurant. So I have at my hotel where I work at, we have one main restaurant that does dinner. And then I have another restaurant that does breakfast and lunch, and then, a coffee shop and a pool bar and all that stuff. But the restaurant that does dinner is number one on TripAdvisor, and it's been number one for 3 years running now. We just won the best restaurant for Hilton Americas. So the food there is amazing. Wood-fired grill, amazing pizza oven, tapas plates. So, I always get to eat really, really good food. I've always been blessed with working with some really, really good chefs and, the ability to.
And breakfast is the best meal of the day.
Yeah.
I love breakfast.
Oh, man, we've got some cool breakfast spots out here in Florida that my wife and I like to go to. That's one of our things is going to breakfast.
Okay, so here's the transformation photo.
Yeah. That was so the picture on the left, that was 2017, I think it was 2016 or 2017, when I was like 240 pounds. And that's not even me like pushing it out. Like that's just me standing there. Like I probably was sucking it in a little bit there. You know what I mean? Like that was and you can tell by the look on my face, like I was miserable, man. I just was not happy. I was depressed. I wasn't looking good, and then now, I feel like, I mean, you can see the difference, more confident. And that's the thing for me is that, fitness is the thing that keeps me happy and healthy,
Yeah. And then we got this one.
Yeah,
that's the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one. So that shirt there, I was even heavier in that picture there. And you can see it in that shirt. That's when I worked at the ski resort. And then that picture there on the right is when I hiked Camelback. So, it's definitely, when you, and it's not even about like how you look. It's just about how you feel inside. For me,
Mhm.
when I go to the gym, I mean, there's guys at my gym that are freaking jacked, that are in so much better shape than me. They're lifting heavier weight than me, and most of those guys are either on juice or TRT. But
Mhm.
you know what I mean? It's just for me. It's just I feel good about myself when I'm there. I feel good that I'm doing the right thing.
Have you thought about doing TRT?
Yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to say
Yeah.
though, because like you've already had kids, you're probably
Yeah.
not going to have them again. There are benefits of doing
100%.
TRT once you're over 40.
No, yeah, and I did. I went and got my blood work done, and I checked my testosterone levels, and my testosterone levels were actually so for a male my age, optimal testosterone levels would be around 800 to 900 is where for
Mhm.
my age would be. My test came in just under 500, so I was eligible for TRT or HRT, however you want to call it. There's a place
Mhm.
out here that I went to get all my blood work done, where it's legit. They give you injections twice a week. They give you a peptide to go along with it. They give you everything you need. They redo your blood work. It was just a financial thing for me. It was like
Right. Oh yeah, it's
$250 a
not
month.
cheap.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if you can go to your doctor and get it, but your doctor just gives you a pill, and he doesn't
Yeah.
give you everything that you need to make it optimal. And then he's giving you a pill for testosterone, but he's not checking your estrogen levels. He's not checking any of that stuff. So this place does all of that. Like I said, they give you the shot twice a week. They give you a peptide, and then they give you an estrogen blocker as well. And I know that it would be huge. I mean, it helps with it makes you feel better in general. It gives you more energy. But
Yeah.
it was $250 a month, and I just,
Oh yeah, it's not cheap.
oh, it's
Um,
crazy. I mean, I already spend way. I'm not going to say how much I spend on supplements, but I already
supplements
spend.
aren't cheap.
Well,
Supplements are not cheap at all.
if you buy good supplements, that's the thing. Like I don't, just because I'm affiliated with First Form doesn't mean that I get like a discount on my supplements. I pay full price
Right.
for my supplements, just like everybody
Yeah,
else
and they're
does.
not cheap.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So, and that's what drew me to First Form was that, when I started watching some of their podcasts and some of their stories, when you listen to what Andy Frisella says about the company is he says, I would rather someone not buy my supplements because they're too expensive than not buy my
Mm.
supplements because they're garbage. He said he refuses to put bad
Oh yeah.
quality products in there. He said, I put the highest quality raw goods in my supplements. So you're going to pay a premium price. Yes, you can get protein cheaper on Amazon. Yes, you can get whatever you
Oh
need
yeah.
off of GNC or
But
wherever you're going.
that's also like going to a tattoo artist,
To
and asking for a $10 tattoo, or
Yeah,
going to like somewhere else and getting $100 tattoo or $1,000 tattoo.
100%.
You're gonna get what you pay for.
Oh, 100%. And that's where, like, when you're an ambassador for a company like that, it's, when I talk to people and I try to educate them on how protein is made, because protein, is made from, it's made from whey, and it
Mhm.
basically can either be, you have to cook it basically. So you can either
Right.
cook it, it's like anything else. You cook it at a high temperature, it cooks faster, but it's not as high of a quality when you cook it at a high temperature. Whereas First Form cooks theirs, it's done at a low temperature processing. So it takes longer to cook, or longer to produce, but it's a better quality product, and
Mhm.
you can taste it in their flavor profiles, and you can tell it doesn't give you upset stomachs, it doesn't give you the bubble guts or any of the things that call them like protein farts
Mhm.
or any of that stuff, crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But some people don't care, they don't understand
Oh
it.
no.
That's why I always put on my post, hashtag never waste a workout, because if you're putting all this time in the gym and you're working out and you're putting an hour or 2 hours, whatever you're doing in the gym, and you're putting all your effort into that, and then you go home and you put garbage supplements in your body, you're
Oh
just
yeah.
wasting your workout basically. So
Yeah. I mean, you can get $10, $20, protein powder, and
yeah,
have that all day.
yeah, I got a 10-pound tub for $40. Okay.
Yeah.
So it tastes like
What's in
trash.
there? It's probably
Yeah,
a
wouldn't do
blend
it.
of something.
Oh, yeah, I
You
know
probably
it's
got a
not high
blend.
quality. It's gonna
Yeah.
upset your stomach.
It's
You
not
shouldn't eat that.
hydrolyzed whey protein. It's
Yeah,
probably
no,
some
not
blend
at,
of, you
not
got
at
like
all.
4 different blends of protein in there.
Right?
It's like,
Exactly.
what even is that? Is there
I
bull
know.
semen in that too?
Well, you start talking about that, you'll get me on the Liver King kick.
Yeah,
That's
he's something else for sure. That guy, I see that guy all over the place, and he is
I'll tell
something
you,
else.
he's a good character, man. But I don't know if I could eat freaking liver and bull testicles like he does. That's kind of crazy. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
wild.
I mean, I mean, I don't know, man. I
I
just wonder
couldn't,
how much of it's real and how much just for show.
dude. I tell you, and that's the thing with it, and that's what frustrates me with Instagram. And my wife and I were talking about this the other day, and I kind of do some of this. I'm guilty for it too, or guilty of it too. Instagram's turned into like she called it like QVC, I think. It's
Oh,
basically like
100%.
everybody's trying to sell something. Everybody's trying to click on my link. Everybody's trying to tell you to do this. And then like I said, you see these people in there. Like, and again, I'm not trying to bash somebody. I don't want to, get in trouble for calling somebody out, but you see these guys on there and it's not natural. These guys are not, they're either jacked full of gear or
I know. Look at Rob.
they've got, they've got implants or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, man. And that's what
Rob's just over there jacked on steroids,
and that's the
shooting stuff in his butt all the time.
But that's the problem, man, is that our youth, like our kids, are looking at this stuff, and that's what they're basing their life off of, is what they see on Instagram. These girls are, and I have a daughter too who's 12, and she's, I look at how Instagram is just like, it's just crazy, And then, when you have kids growing up in this age and what they see, they spend so much time on social media. And my daughter doesn't even have a social media account, but she looks, she'll scan through it on my phone or whatever. And it's just like, it's not real. The things you see on there are so.
Oh yeah, I mean, and granted, there's some people out there that are 100% like legit, like they show like they talk about it, like Seth Ferosi, one of the people I like.
Oh, I love Seth.
He's 100% like, yeah, I take steroids. Like, you fucking think I got this way and I didn't fucking take steroids?
100%. He's the realest.
Yeah, he's 100% real about everything. Like, he doesn't try to sugarcoat anything. Yeah. He's like, do you think I got here without taking steroids? Like, of course I took steroids.
And he's actually, so like he even says, because I was using his supplements before I really got into it with First Form as well. Yeah. And he's on the same level as First Form as far as high quality.
Oh, 100%.
Like, his supplements are the highest quality.
So his podcast was one of the main reasons I wanted to do a podcast.
Yeah.
I was listening to his podcast from the episode 1 when they first started it.
Hilarious. That podcast, like I'd be driving to work listening to it, laughing my ass off. Just like he just doesn't. And the best thing about him is he doesn't care what anybody thinks about him.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Yes, I did steroids, but I'm still a good father. I'm still a hardworking, HWMF. That's his motto.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Like, he'll tell you what he thinks and how he feels, and
exactly.
During the whole COVID stuff, and during politics, he'll talk about it all because he doesn't give a fuck.
No, he doesn't care what anybody says. No, and I love it.
I mean, he's just like Andy Frisella, though. Andy Frisella does the same thing.
Yep.
Like, at a point when you get to be like, you just don't give a fuck. Like, people are gonna hate you regardless.
100%. Yeah, but when you look back at all the stuff that they were saying, years ago, a lot of it was true. So
yeah, 100%.
It's definitely it's funny because I know Seth on one of his podcasts talked about how I guess he met Andy and Sal, or he met Sal and he went to the facility, and he was blown away that they were showing him everything that they do, and I guess one of the comments he made was that Sal looked at him and said, "I'll show you everything I do, but you got to do it. It's not easy. You still have to do the work." He's like, "I have no problem showing you, and it's not easy. If you want it, you got to do the work. So
yeah."
But so you had to disappear there, Rob. Everything okay?
He had to go shoot steroids in his butt.
No, honestly, like I had to take ALY out. She needed to go to the bathroom. But no, I'll end up probably doing TRT. Amanda and I are debating, like, we obviously got engaged a couple weeks ago, but we're thinking about getting married next year, November. And then we're debating on the whole kid thing or not. And we're thinking maybe one kid or no kids. That's where we're kind of at, just because both of us are 40, healthy and in good shape. But that's the whole entire reason why that correlates, is that's what's holding me back on like TRT right now. Is it'll reduce sperm count, and I'm already older and she's already older, so we got to figure out if we're having kids or not, because like part of us are comfortable with just being good with our dogs. Like we both have really good salaries. We both have really good jobs. We both have really cool dogs. And then I guess this can be announced because I mean, literally, it's kind of public news. Her
Are you getting
leadership, her leadership, like she's a manager too. She's kind of like mid-level manager. Like she has people over, and then she's got a team, and that's kind of what I have set up as well. Here, her boss though came into her office recently and said, "Hey, like, congratulations on the engagement and everything. It's gonna, I think, after talking to my wife, it's gonna benefit you to be out there with Rob, then be here, and we can't afford to lose you." So he offered her 100% telework. So
really,
so we're
dude, that's
thinking,
dope.
yeah, she didn't even have to ask because she was going to have the uncomfortable conversation. But the point is, like, once we get together and figure out a couple things, we're going to either do the kid route, not do the kid route, but we ultimately want to live together and start like either our dog family together or,
doggy daddy daycare.
yeah, exactly. But as soon as I figure out if we're not having kids, like,
Just
Rob's gonna do
probably
all the steroids and have
all
all
the
the
steroids.
dogs.
well, you just got to make sure. All I would say is that make sure, and I don't remember like where you stepped out of the conversation or not, but don't go to your doctor for TRT.
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
Don't
I
go
was
to the
there.
VA.
I heard what
Don't
you
go to the
said, and I know
VA
about
and
that
try to
stuff.
get
Yeah.
steroids.
Yeah, go to a real place that'll do it, that knows about it, that'll get you the right stuff you need.
Yeah, not the VA.
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, definitely not the VA. Hell no. But I mean, like I said, it was just too expensive for me. It was $250 a month, and I already spend a decent amount on supplements as it is. So until we get into, and I will do it eventually, just because I know that it'll make me the optimal person that I can be, and my testosterone levels low. To be under 500 is not optimal. So, and that affects, and forget about the gym. That affects your mental health. That affects your energy. It affects everything in your life, if your testosterone levels are not optimal. So, and that's for men and women too. I mean, even women at some point, depending on their lifestyle, could use testosterone. If they have too much estrogen in their blood, it can cause negative effects the other way for them as well too. So they actually do that for women. So,
and it's even more prominent for veterans and people like special forces and people who experienced a lot of trauma and a lot of hard work from being in the military. It's even
100%.
more so that they're recommended to do HRT.
Yeah, for sure.
So okay, is there anything else you want to cover, Rob? You're muted, Rob.
I was gonna say not really, unless there's anything else that Curry wanted to talk about.
No. I mean, I appreciate you guys having me on. Like I said, I think like for me, just when it comes to fitness, for anyone who's listening to this, I think that again, you just need to start. I think people are overwhelmed by the gym. I think people are overwhelmed by getting started. People are kind of happy in their ways, like, oh yeah, I put on 20, 30 pounds. I'm just going to let it go. The biggest thing you can do is, and I'll tell you how my whole fitness journey started. We didn't really get into this, but it's coming up real soon. I'm pretty sure we're still setting the clocks back. I know this doesn't happen in Arizona, but everywhere else in the United States is still setting the clocks back this coming weekend.
Arizona's weird.
Well, they're voting for it to go away. But anyway, regardless. So this is how I started. I wanted to get up early and go to the gym, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. I couldn't get myself out of bed. So when daylight savings happened and the clocks went back, instead of me getting the extra hour of sleep, I got up at the same time, but now that's an hour earlier. But my brain thought I was getting up at the same time. So instead of getting up at 5, which is what I normally got up, now I'm getting up at 4. But in my head, I feel like it's 5 because we set the clocks back an hour. And that's what I use to kickstart. So I would say, if you don't know where to start or you don't know what to do, when daylight savings comes and you get that extra hour of sleep, don't take the extra hour of sleep. Get up an hour earlier and walk for 1 hour. Now, in a fasted state, no food, no nothing in your system. Drink 2 cups of water and walk for 1 hour. If you do that 3 to 5 times a week, and that's all you do is just walk, you will lose weight. Your body will lose weight, and that will start the journey. And then once you get comfortable and you start to lose weight, don't be afraid to go to the gym. I mean, when you go to the gym, even some of those guys that are jacked and huge, most of those guys are really nice and really friendly.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's there for the same reason.
They're all there for the same reason. You know what I mean? So don't be intimidated by the gym. Don't be intimidated by.
Take his advice, Austin.
I know what I'm talking about. The main reason I don't go to the gym is because it's 20 minutes away.
I don't give a fuck. Get up and fucking go on a walk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's walking, it's push-ups, it's easy stuff like that. And then I would also say,
when this time change happens, you start.
When I say that,
I'm gonna sleep in for an extra 2 hours.
Austin's gonna be dead by 40. Just
don't say that. Don't say that. When I say that motivation is meaningless, because a lot of times when we say that, like, I don't believe in motivation, I think it's garbage. While I say that, I do listen while I'm at the gym to and on my car ride, a lot of motivational people. I listen to a lot of motivational podcasts. I listen to, Eric Thomas, the E.T., the hip hop preacher. He's got some really, really cool stuff that you can listen to. There's a book out by Ed Milet called The Power of One More that talks about doing like one more call, one more rep, one more, anything that you do, just do one more. So if you feel what you put into your brain is what you're going to get out of it. If you put a bunch of negativity in, then a bunch of negativity is going to come out. If you put a bunch of positivity in and a bunch of good messages and a bunch of motivational stuff into your brain as you're working out or throughout your day, it will help. It will create positivity in your life. So, I'm going to always say discipline over motivation, because the discipline is going to get you out of bed and get you up. But you need some of those things to motivate you maybe in the moment or throughout the day. So, if anybody has any questions, shoot me a message, hit me, send me a DM on Instagram, and I'd be happy to talk to you. If you want to lose weight or you want to gain weight, that's what we do with First Form, is we help people do that and through many ways. So, shoot me a message. I don't care. And I'm not a personal trainer. That's not what I do. I'm a normal 40-year-old guy who's passionate about helping people and passionate about fitness. So shoot me a message, follow me on Instagram. I'd love to help you out. That's pretty much it, man. Yeah. I appreciate you guys having me. It was awesome.
So what do you like? What is your go-to when you're having like a really bad day, like depressed or just not motivated at all?
So as far as to me, it's music too. So I use music a lot when I'm really, really depressed or I'm having a really, really rough day. And I'll tell you, to be honest with you, when I was going through a really dark time in my life a long time ago, before I met my wife, I'd lost two of my best friends within a month of each other. My grandmother and grandfather weren't doing well. My grandfather passed away. So I was like downward spiral. And there was an album that came out that kind of changed my life by Incubus called Make Yourself. And that album by Incubus, Make Yourself, was like what I needed to hear at the right time in my life. And to this day, that is my favorite album of all time, only because it changed my life. Now, I love all different kinds of music. I listen to metal, I listen to hip hop, I listen to everything in between, but that album. So for me, I think it's to find music that will set the tone for you, and it's got to be music that will help you, put you in a better state. But for me, if I'm like, when it comes to the gym, if I'm like super not feeling it, whatever I can do, like cardio wise, I'll do battle ropes, like to inflict as much pain on myself, I guess, as I can, which will kind of like beat it out of me. I always say I'm going to the gym to battle my demons, and there's some days where those demons are louder than others, and those are the days where I go harder at the gym because I'm battling those demons and inflicting that physical pain on myself, whether it be the battle ropes or whether it be a serious, high intensity interval training or whatever. For me, that's it. If you wake up and you're depressed and you're tired and you don't feel good, laying in bed is not going to fix it. It's going to compound. It's going to get worse. You're going to get in your head. You need to get up. You need to get outside. You need to put on some good music. Find that album that makes you happy. Find that, I say album, I'm such a boomer. Find that, whatever, that playlist, that podcast that makes you happy, and listen to it over
that burned CD that you put in your Walkman,
Hey, dude, I got tapes. Tapes in my garage. But yeah, no, for me, it's music. It's music, and it's a good workout. That's what it is. Because like I said, if you keep putting negativity into yourself, you'll be stuck in your head, and you'll just keep repeating that cycle over and over. So
do it, Austin. Stop being a lazy piece of shit.
Do what? Sleep?
Stop being lazy. All right, let's get into ATI. This is the portion where we'll tell your son and your mom to stop listening, or your wife.
These aren't bad. What are you talking about?
I mean, nah, these ones aren't that bad. ATI is answer to the internet. For those of you who are new to the podcast, it's would you rather questions. Some of them are really fucked up, some of them are not, but we kind of like tailored this one to like more of like PG-13.
Awesome.
All right. Would you rather never eat candy again or only eat candy corn?
So never eat candy or eat candy corn?
Yes. So you either never eat candy again or you're only allowed to eat candy corn.
See, I love candy corn, but I think that for me, the candy thing would be easy to give up. I'm more of like my weakness is like pastries and sweet and like things like that when it comes to like pastries and pies and like chips and like that's my weakness when it comes to snacks. I'm not a big candy guy, but I mean, I do love some candy corn, man. So I don't know. I think I'd go never eat candy again.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care for candy corn in general. Like it's
it.
okay, but I it's not my like go-to.
It starts to taste like wax after a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it just gets kind of like.
So.
I like that we get it for like a month or two around.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna never eat candy again because there's other snacks and like sweets that you could have. That could instead of candy.
More fulfilling. Yeah, if I'm gonna waste my calories, I'm gonna waste it on something good.
Oh, I mean, I'm a sucker for Sour Patch Kids. Sour Patch Kids are my jam.
I like the trolleys. Those little like sour worm trolleys.
Oh yeah,
those are my favorite.
We have a funny story about that. I sent Rob I think 7 pounds of the sour trolley gummy worms as a practical joke one year.
That's funny. I'll send you guys a website that you can order a certain kind of gummy anonymously, and you can send it to someone.
But do that to Rob. Yeah. I just ordered it on Amazon and sent it to Rob.
I like opened the bag, took out a Ziploc bag's worth, and then just gave out the rest to my fat ass coworkers in Wyoming.
Yeah, that was funny.
And I mailed like 1 or 2 out to like SOS followers because I was like, I can't eat all this shit. I would answer that question though with I would probably just do candy corn.
I figured you would. I know how you work, Rob. Rob has a huge sweet tooth and can't go without candy.
What did Curry put in the chat? Do you want us to use this?
No. I'm just telling you, like, go check it out, Google it, and you can order a box of gummies and send them to somebody anonymously. So you can
send a bag of dicks.
Yeah, you can literally
send it to Rob.
But it's a bunch of little. It's a bunch of little gummies, and that's what
I'm gonna send it to Amanda.
They're shaped like that, and it comes with a sign on it that says someone wants you to eat a bag, and that's what it is. But it's awesome. Anonymous, like it doesn't they won't tell who it came from or anything. So, and they're cheap. Yeah. It's like $20.
I'm gonna send it to Amanda, Rob.
When I was in Wyoming for my birthday one year, I had to piss someone off or someone thought it was funny, but they sent me like a present and it said happy birthday on the outside of it. And it was like this tube. And I'm trying to like figure out how to open it. It doesn't say who it's from. It doesn't say where it's from. I open it up and it explodes with confetti everywhere. And it was a bunch of like dicks. And then on the inside, it says happy birthday, you're a dick. And I was like, and then it gave you like the website where you could like order it to other people, but it didn't say who it was from. I was like,
yeah. That's hilarious.
To this day, I don't even know who did it because it was like before I even knew Austin.
That's what you're getting for your birthday next year, Rob.
I just won't open it.
Right.
All right. Next question.
All right.
Okay. Would you rather go back to the past and meet your loved ones who passed away, or go to the future to meet your children or grandchildren to be?
Ooh, that's a good one. So if I go back to the past, can I make some changes and some investments?
No, you can't do that. It's called the butterfly effect, and that's not allowed.
I don't know if I'd want to go into the future. I think the future would scare me. I think if I could go into the future and if I saw like just as, again, maybe this is getting a little too deep, but seeing like where our society is going and kind of the way things are going, if I was to go 20 years in the future and see that it was jacked up and like things were horrible and then had to go back and continue to live my life knowing that that's what I had to coming ahead
but
of
then
me.
you could do things to try to like fix those things.
Yeah, I mean, you could maybe
to a
on
point,
like a micro scale, maybe, but like if it's
Yeah.
like totally jacked up, like it takes
apocalypse.
it takes a lot of people to fix like a totally jacked up society and nation. So like, I think I'd rather go in the past. Like if I always said like if I could go back, there's like some like people that passed away and see. Oh, look at that one. See, mine's sleeping. He's in the other room sleeping. I thought he would have come in here by now, but
Yeah, I locked mine out.
he's. But no, I think I'd go in the past because I don't think I'd want to see the future, and I don't know. That scares me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the past too, just because there's people I want to meet that I never got the chance to meet.
So I guess again, not trying to steal your thunder here, Rob. I definitely want to hear what you have to say. But if you could go back in time and meet any person, any person, who would you want to go back in time and meet?
I mean, honestly, my mom, because she died when I was 2.
Oh wow.
That'd be
way to make this emotional, man.
I'm just being honest.
You had to freaking ruin it.
I'm just being honest.
Sad and shit. Way to go, Austin. Way to ruin the podcast.
No, that's a good answer.
I'm just being honest.
So, Rob, future or past?
Probably future, because I'm more interested in what the future is, and I think it'd be interesting
Elon Musk is gonna
figure it out if I even had kids or not.
Yeah.
So
chips in your brain and robots in your houses and
hey, Elon Musk will be president by then.
I know, right? He's next.
The Android version of him,
he just bought Twitter, so
he puts his brain into a robot, and it's like
yeah.
That's what scares me. That's why I don't want to go into the future, because I'll just be like, this isn't worth it.
No, he just bought Twitter, then he's gonna buy Facebook, and then we'll be good.
I'm a fan.
There'll be Futurama
next
in like 20
question. Years. Would you rather have photographic memory or an IQ of 200?
Wow. That's a good one.
So the question is, if I have an IQ of 200, have I had it the whole time, or is it just like immediately?
Right now, tomorrow morning, you wake up with either photographic memory or an IQ of 200.
I'm gonna go with an IQ of 200.
Why?
I could be the next like Elon Musk if I had an IQ of 200.
My only concern with an IQ that high is that there's very few people with an IQ that high, and I think you would get bored with life because
it depends, because your social IQ might go down.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you don't have. There's nothing that excites you, or there's nothing that challenges you, or the conversations you have with people don't challenge you. I don't know. I mean, a photographic memory would be pretty cool to be able to like see things and remember them, or I think just because I struggle with that part, like with my ADD, I struggle with focusing and I struggle with remembering things. I'm horrible with names. If I meet somebody new, literally you'll introduce me to somebody, and at the end of the conversation, I'll forget their name. It's just my brain. It's just how it works. Like I have to keep repeating it to myself in my head, and then try to keep using it to remember it. But I think I would take photographic memory, just because it'd be nice to be able to remember everything.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I have really bad ADD too, and I just can't remember shit.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
What you picking, Rob?
Yo, Allie is on one. She's losing her shit right now.
Okay, well, hurry up.
She's like, all right, you've been on an hour and a half.
I'm going to do IQ 200. Like, I need all the help I can get. I'm way too dumb. I need it. All right, next question. Go.
Would you rather go on a cruise with your boss or never go on a vacation ever again?
Ooh. I would take it with my current boss. I would take it going on a cruise with my boss, because he's actually my new boss is pretty cool. Him and I get along really well together. He's a good guy. He's a hard worker. He's fun. He's very direct, and he's not he's kind of made me step outside my comfort zone. But he's a good guy. So I would take my boss at this time for sure.
Just you and your boss going on a cruise.
If you asked me this in the past, I might have said never go on a vacation ever again. But At this point in time, I would go with my boss on a cruise.
Okay. What about you, Rob?
I fucking hate my boss, and
I knew it. I hope he's listening.
Hate him.
I hope he's listening.
He's literally the worst. He doesn't listen to this podcast, so I can definitely talk shit about him. No, actually, I really like my boss. He's cool as fuck.
Okay, I was gonna say, wow.
No. He listens to the podcast, and he's like a big brother to me. He's fucking awesome. He's outstanding.
I was gonna say, I do remember you posting some stuff about him in the past, so I was a little.
Yeah. I get along with him really good.
Awesome.
He was on my stories yesterday when I was talking about like Allie's real side versus her work side.
she was wigging out over that steak, man.
Yeah, losing her shit. All right.
What about you? I mean, this doesn't really affect me as much because I'm my own boss.
I am your boss.
You're not my boss. So
let's be honest.
You think you're my boss.
I know I'm your boss. You're my exec.
I mean, okay, I'll go on a cruise with you as long as I can throw you overboard.
I can feel the love.
All right. Fair enough. On to the next. Last question.
Okay, go ahead.
Would you rather smooch with Chris Pratt, Chris Pine, Chris Evans, or Chris Hemsworth?
Oh.
You have to kiss one. Who are you kissing?
I gotta remember who all these people are. I gotta check them out, see which ones.
Chris Pratt was you know who that is, right?
Was what?
Dino Dad.
Okay, yeah.
And then Chris Evans is in the Avengers. He's Captain America. Chris Hemsworth is Thor. And then who's Chris Pine?
He's I don't know what movie he's in recently.
Bring them up. That way Zeke can pick his dude he's gonna kiss.
Chris Pine was in Wonder Woman.
I'm definitely not picking Thor. Not at all. No, he's too manly.
He's very manly.
Definitely not picking Thor. I'm leaning towards Captain America. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
my thought would be either Chris Evans or Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I don't know. Captain America's got some soft features, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to Chris Pratt and go with Dino Dad.
I can't remember.
Wait, Dino Dad. Like, what are you talking about? Talk about something recent that he was in.
Jurassic World, motherfucker. Dino Dad.
Oh, say Jurassic World.
Chris Pratt's a cool dude. No, I think I'm still going for Captain America. Yeah, I like Chris Pratt. I'm just see what I mean about being bad with names. Like, I don't. This is why I need a photographic memory over a 200 IQ because I can't remember people. But yeah, no, I think I'm going to go with Captain America for sure. If I got to kiss a dude, it's got to be Captain America.
Who are you going with, Rob?
Oh, Chris Pratt, hands down.
Yeah,
I'd definitely kiss him. Good-looking guy, and I think he would get like the no homo part, so like it wouldn't go past like a kiss. So I'm down with a little smooch with Chris Pratt.
That's hilarious.
Okay, and that's it.
That's it.
All right.
Ending on a kiss.
Yeah, ended on a kiss. All right, stick around for a second. I'm gonna close this out, and then we're gonna get a group picture, and we're gonna go about our nights. Absolutely. All right, everyone, thank you for joining and listening or viewing the Fight Like Hell podcast. You can find us on all social platforms, whether it's YouTube, through Spotify, the podcast, through Apple, whatever you listen to. If you have a stupid ass Android, you can find us there too with whatever fucking bullshit app you guys use. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, give us a rating. Rate us off of my commentary, not Austin's, and it should be a pretty good rating. All right. Thanks for joining us. Peace.